Welcome to the Fermented Homestead. On this channel, I'm sharing our journey of learning how to turn our home into a homestead. And today is the day that we are going to build a new home for these guys. I have 10 Cornish cross and 10 either Freedom Ranger or Red Ranger. I don't actually know which one they are. I'm going to have to find out. But I don't even know if it really matters actually. But anyways, so as you can see, they are pretty darn cramped. They are about 2.5 weeks old. I would say probably more like 3 weeks old. They don't, I have a gum in my hand. I need to. So these birds don't quite, I don't think they quite have, let me see if I can find one. These birds, they still have just a little bit of hair on their necks. Or, not hair, but these birds still have a little bit of down on their necks and their heads. And so from what I've gathered, you're not supposed to put them outside until they're fully covered in feathers. It doesn't have to be a lot of feathers, but they're supposed to be feathers, because if they don't have the feathers, then they can't fluff themselves up enough and give themselves enough of an air gap to be, or air gaps, I guess is how they keep warm. I was just reading about it. And if they don't have the actual real feathers, then they can't keep warm properly. And so you're not supposed to put them outside. But there's not a whole lot of room in there. So you can see here, here's the Red Ranger. And this one is very squeaky. You can see on their necks, it's getting there. It's getting pretty darn close. But you can kind of see, you can see that they still definitely have down. Their wings and everywhere else they have feathers. But on their head, they still have a little bit of down, and a little bit underneath here, there is definitely still some down left. So I'm a little bit hesitant to put them out a little bit too soon, but I think I'm just going to have to build this tractor today, and then hopefully by this weekend they will have their feathers, and I can just put them outside on Sunday. Another reason that I hesitate is that this weekend we're supposed to get really, really cold temperatures overnight, and I don't want to make them freeze like their first night out. So I have been turning off their light that they have in the big container here, to get them a little more acclimated to the outside, whether they don't need that anymore. But, so here is the Red Ranger here, or Freedom Ranger. I don't know how to tell how much they weigh, because I don't have a scale that would work. Ah! Ah! Come on, dude! Ah! Gosh! Darn it! So, okay. You don't like being out of there, do you? Oh, food, fine. You're the one. Okay, got him by the wings. Okay, so you can see this Ranger, this Cornish cross is significantly larger than the other ones. And you can see, I would say this one's at least twice the size, just based on the weight. Okay, sorry, bird. This one's probably at least twice the size, just based on kind of holding it and feeling it. It seems to be about twice the size. But underneath also, they lost a lot of belly feathers. I don't know if that's normal. They're all like that. I don't know what I'm doing here. But it's just on the Cornish that's like that. So I don't know if it's part of the molting off the down and they're growing the feathers, but they're all like that. So I don't know if it's normal. I need to look that up. And this one here is a barred rock. Much, much different. These were all bought on the same day. They were all hatched on the same day. And this one is one that is considered a multi-purpose. This one is both egg and meat. And you can see, I mean, it's definitely a different size. So this one, I can see why people go with the Cornish cross. They grow so much quicker, and they just eat and eat and eat. And so I am doing things a little bit differently than I did in the beginning, and I'll go ahead and do a separate video on kind of what I'm doing as far as their feed and all that sort of thing. This tub is really good for starting them out. It's really good for when they're little like this, but once they start to get any kind of larger, I mean, you really can't fit more than like, really, I guess you could get by with 20 like I have in there, but it's pretty cramped in there, and I wouldn't want to keep them any longer than I have to, 3 weeks and they're pretty much outside, like kick them outside. regardless of anything. So we just, right now, we don't have a space any different that we can actually put them, so that's why they're in here. We thought it was a good idea when we first started, and it still is a good idea, but space can just get kind of cramped. And then we also, let me show you one other thing that is another reason that we're kind of wanting to get these suckers outside. And we also have, we have two separate ones. We have the ones with the meat birds in here, and there, as you can see, they're going to town on their feed. And then there's also the egg layers. These ones seem to have, you know, a pretty reasonable amount of space. There's 26 of them in there. And as soon as they get their feathers, they're going outside as well. But I think one thing that we're gonna end up doing is actually taking them and putting these into the garage. We had thought that we would keep them inside. The smell isn't too bad, at least for me. I don't. My husband doesn't complain about it a whole lot. It might think it's worse, but I think it's fine. We change out the bedding, and it seems to be okay. The main thing that is really, really obnoxious that I've never heard anybody talk about when they have them inside is this. Like, extreme levels of dust everywhere. I've already wiped this couch off like 14 times. But anyways, so needless to say, we're gonna go outside and we're gonna build us a chicken tractor. Let's go. So it is clearly getting dark, and I'm going to wrap this up, and we're gonna just have to finish it this weekend. So we'll see you in a little bit whenever I'm ready to get back to finishing this up. So we're just I tried to fit it in an afternoon after work, and it just wasn't enough time for me. I've never done this before, so yeah. So we'll see you probably in a couple days, I would imagine, and we'll finish this up. It shouldn't take too much longer. Maybe like another hour or so, I would imagine, and it should be completed. So we'll see you then. It's been a few days since we got to the chicken tractor, and we are going to be finishing it today. Today is the day that we are hoping to get the meat birds at the very least out of the house, and possibly even the other birds. So we are going to go ahead and put this thing together and bring you along for the rest of the build. We basically just need to recenter all of the hardware cloth on there. We need to cover the tarp on one side, and then also we need to build the doors, and then it should pretty much be done. So just a little bit left. Hopefully we can get it done in less than an hour, because we have a bunch of other stuff we want to get done today. We're gonna go to town and just all kinds of stuff. So let's get at it. One thing I was thinking that since I could only get those, I was thinking that we could cut a strip of the short stuff to put in the center, and we could save these long strips for the next, because it's already pre-cut for the next one. So that was kind of my thinking. Let me get my gloves on here. So all we're doing right now is Robert's going around and he is stapling the hardware cloth to the actual wood to keep it down. And then I'm going through with a bunch of zip ties and actually zip tying all the edges, and then we'll zip tie all the joints as well, and just to kind of keep it in place a little bit better. I don't know how long these are going to last, but we're going to find out. So a little bit of a change of plans. On the side that we're gonna tarp, we're gonna put, obviously a piece of junk wood on here, and then we're gonna just put it on hinges, and then yeah, just to save on not having to cut up as many cattle panels, because we don't have any cattle panels laying around and they cost money, so this is free. So we're just gonna do that, and then we're gonna figure out some way to cover just this teeniest of little gaps right here, just to make sure that they're completely sealed in there and safe and nothing can get to them. So the tractor is almost done, and now we're just doing the final steps of trying to figure out how we kind of used all the ends and pieces of the hardware cloth to put it together at the door. And while all of the door that goes over the actual hoop part is covered in hardware cloth, but some of the edges aren't, so we're just making sure, Robert's making sure that they're kind of taped up and hopefully going to be safe and not going to cut us on it every morning. And we're also trying to figure out a new like a latch kind of a system so that we can open and close these. And so we're kind of working on a plan, and I'll show you what we have when we're all finished. So the main thing that I have been struggling with, my husband and I both have been struggling with, is trying to figure out how to hinge this thing on the bottom. I'm sure that there might have been, we didn't know. And so I've been doing some experimenting, and kind of the best I can come up with is this little hook thing, and it's just gonna go on here, and then this will hook around this hook and also a hook around that. It's not going to be like a completely tight hinge, but it'll be a hinge enough, and hopefully that will work. So let's see what we can do with this, shall we? Just do this really quick because I really want to get those birds out of the house because they keep escaping and they're packed in there like sardines. So I have 20 birds in that. It's a 2x2x4, I believe. 2x2x4, yeah. Galvanized container. That's what they hold them in at like Tractor Supply and Coastal and things like that. It only works when they're babies, when they're really, really little. It's when they get to this age, I mean, you might be able to fit 10 in there for the full 3 weeks they're supposed to be inside, but I don't think any more than that, and really, I don't know. I'm going to try something different for the next round. Okay, so I think this might work. There's a little itty bitty gap, like my finger width. Oh, I can't even see. There's a little itty bitty gap under here, like enough for my finger to fit through, and that's about it. So hopefully that'll be okay. The other side is like strong as a tank over there, so we'll see how this goes. And I have these hinges here. I have two sets of bungee cords on each side, one on the top, one on the bottom, because I noticed there was still a little bit of a gap here, more than I was comfortable with. I think like a coon or something could reach their hand inside there, so I just want to be super cautious and careful with that. And then this one's just to hold the top in place for when, because this latch here is just to hold the other side shut. And so I'll show you here. These are hinged on the bottom with actual hinges, because I mean this is wood, so it was pretty easy to figure that one out. And then this here is just going to hook on this bolt and then just get cinched up. And then here also, it's about a finger. I can't even get my knuckle through. So, I mean, it's not a big gap. If we have to, we'll figure out something for that. But we'll just see how it goes right here. All right, so now let's see how easy this thing is to actually drag. Wow! They're like, what is this? Oh, I gotta move quick. Oh, the shock was on. Stay in there for one more. Haha, I got it. see what they're doing in here. Thanks for coming along with us for this chicken tractor build and seeing it through from start to finish. Chickens are happy, they're eating their feed, and that's about all there is to it. The feed that I'm feeding these chickens and all the chickens it's a brand called Scratch and Peck, I believe is the name of it. And it's a local company, and they make feeds that are non-GMO, organic, soy-free, and you have the option of corn-free if you wish. And so these ones have been on the chick starter. They're 3 weeks old. I think Friday, today's Monday, and I think they turned 3 weeks old on Friday. I picked them up at Coastal, so I don't know the exact hatch day of them, but it's right around probably, well, actually, they're probably about 4 weeks old now that I think about it, because they probably were the ship date and all that fun jazz. But anyways, they just started to get real feathers on their neck. You can see them. There's still a little bit of down, but you could see from the space in there that they were just way too big to actually stay in that container. So I put them outside, waited out the coldest nights in the forecast, and now it should be warm enough for them to cuddle up, and possibly even I might put a heat lamp out here. I haven't decided yet. We'll see how that goes. So the chickens, like I was saying, the feed that I'm actually giving them is Scratch and Peck, and it is a whole grain kind of feed. It's not pelleted, and it's not crumbled or anything like that. I felt it crumbled once, the first bag, because I didn't know any better, and I didn't know that it had soy in it. So when I found out it had soy, this is the only brand I could find that didn't have any soy in it. So I just wanted to show you guys what I'm doing with it. I don't feed it to them dry. I ferment it for about 3 or 4 days. Helps it to last longer and brings out the nutrients in it. And as you can see, they're growing pretty darn quickly. If you guys are interested in how I'm fermenting the foods, let me know. I can make a separate video on that. It's it's pretty simple, but it is definitely a process, and you have to be kind of organized and make sure you're doing it at the same time every day and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. So thank you so much for watching this tractor build from chicken tractor build rather, from start to finish. I will link below the videos that I have watched that kind of inspired how I did this, even though it was a little bit different. It was definitely similar enough that I want to make sure that I post those videos so you can see they're probably better instructional videos on how to make this. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.